We tend to value professional intuitives and energy healers for their accuracy and their power in their ability to get things done. But it's not like that at the beginning when you're first learning how to do this. And I'm going to talk about that in this video. I'm Krishanti, and I'm so happy you're here and we can talk about everything related to intuitive development and energy healing. And I learned how to do readings and healings professionally and have been working in the field for about 20 years, but I learned how to do it. I wasn't like this psychic person or this person that everyone said had gifts or abilities. Like, I had no idea, except I had an interest. I wanted to see where this could take me. And if you're in this boat, this is likely how it will work for you. I read a book and then I worked with somebody, and over the years with practice, I got better and better and good enough to be able to train people myself. So I know what happened with me when I was learning, and I know what happens with students when they're learning. And that whole thing about being very accurate and being very powerful that we value and cherish as a society for people who do energy healings and intuitive work, that's not the way it is at the beginning. And in fact, when you're really entering into this world, that stuff is not important. Sure, being powerful, that's great and everything, but the accuracy part, that's debatable. And so let's start from the very beginning. I'm actually opening up a group sort of cohort class for group training of intuitive development and energy healing. So this is all on my mind because I've been working and training one-on-one students in a private program for years and years and years. Now opening it up to more people working at this together. And when you first start to do the work, the most important thing to keep in mind is there are procedures and methods and like ways of doing it. And there's a reason for it. It's separate from the regular world. And so you want to separate your consciousness from the regular world, and that takes time. I've worked with students who will like kind of rush in and plop down for the training session, like with no time to prepare or anything. And they're okay, they could be okay, but like they're so much better when you really take that time because you're working with your own energy and that of other people. And when you get the world out of the way, you're better able to really tune in. So that's a big part of it. And then when you start to move and work with energy, to visualize it, to see it, that's clairvoyance, to hear, clairaudience, to feel, clairsentience, all of that stuff. And then all of those kind of are implied. They all work with energy healing. I went to a healing workshop like 7 years ago, and I was so kind of blown away by the number of people who considered intuition work and psychic development work separate from energy work. And I'm like, but we are all energy. So that doesn't make any sense. It all kind of fits into the same thing. And with your intuition, you can see what's going on in the body and then direct the energy, which you can also see. And then you're doing energy healing. It just all makes sense to me. But anyway, after you do the methods to like separate yourself from the world and get in a good energy space, you're going to be working with energy at a subtle level. And it could be not so much subtle. I say subtle because you're not going to be describing like detailed facts to people like your ChatGPT or your Google. Like, what you see when you first start out is color, weird, like strange pictures that don't make sense. You might get feelings, you might hear words. And the three words that are the most important ones that you'll hear all the time are don't make sense. Like, it doesn't make sense. You'll be like, I'm seeing a picture and it doesn't make sense. I see a bunch of pictures, they don't make sense. That's the part that people have the hardest time with. But that's the part that makes this so special, because even though it doesn't make sense to you, it doesn't mean that it's not true. And in our world, we're taught it has to make sense, it has to be correct, I have to be able to analyze it. And in this world, you're much better off leaving your brain out of it and not trying to place all your limitations and all the things you think you know onto this stuff. The worst readings I've had students give are the ones where they ignore the intuition, they ignore the psychic pictures that are coming in, and they just start talking like they're themselves. That's like it's terrible. And I'm noticing like there's a lot of like quick and dirty, because they want us, we're losing our attention spans. There's so many people who are like, do it really fast. You can learn this in 4 weeks or 6 weeks, and like really quick, like, and to really get good and to have the pictures that don't make sense and the information that you're like, I'm not sure, but your job is to just report what you see, and that moves energy, and that is the way it goes. With time, it begins to make sense, but that's with dedication, with you really, really putting all of your energy into perfecting your ability to convey what you're seeing. It gets easier and easier, and it kind of works with you. You're essentially tapping into the collective unconscious. It's like a pool of images that informs our whole reality, pictures. And so you can't, there is no such thing as a picture. We're in a picture-based reality. There's no such thing as a picture being wrong. So at the beginning, when you're learning, you're going to get weird stuff, and you're going to need to be brave and just say it. And not, if you're doing it for another person, that other person, what they think about what you're saying doesn't make, like, it doesn't matter, because you're not doing this professionally, you're learning. And when you're working with these things for yourself, you'll start to understand what the pictures you're getting and the things you're hearing and what they're telling you. Your intuition, when you're applying it for yourself, works in a very special way that is unique to you, and you won't know until you start to do it. A lot of students would come into my professional one-on-one program wanting to do this for other people, and then really discovering that it's so cool that they want it all for themselves, and they want to just help guide their own path. And when that's the case, you kind of start to get more into like channeling. That's what I do with the intuitive work. I've been known to do readings, but like I said about that taking the time, I sometimes don't want to take like the 15 to 30 minutes to get really psychic and everything and do that for myself. So I'll do channeling, which is a process that flows a little more quickly, and I just download the info. But that's another thing that comes up in learning how to use your intuition. And in my particular programs, it's like we figure out what your greatest skill is, and you learn how to use all of them, like the channeling and the seeing with your mind's eye and the hearing, and then you figure out which one you like the best, like for yourself and for others. And you begin to be able to trust the information that comes through. It just is a matter of time. But again, at the beginning, accuracy is not where we're going, because who is the one determining what is accurate and what isn't? And the beauty of this world is it's not supposed to have to be like our mundane reality, right? This is supposed to be an adventure. We're supposed to be like unlocking our minds and exploring the limitlessness of our multiverse, right? So let's not take the fun out of it and have you back doing basic math in 3rd grade for Sally, you know what I mean? Like to solve her problem and tell her if the guy's going to call on Wednesday, which is one of the reasons why this work has a bad name, because it is like you can take it into that level of like very mundane, like predict my future, or am I going to have this, or is this going to happen, or can I get that? And it's like, well, okay, we can apply this incredible skill that you have and and filter it down into something very boring, or we can have it be as incredible as it is and let it take us to places that we haven't seen before, that we'd like to learn more about ourselves and about the nature of the world we live in. So that was a whole lot of rambling at the end. This group program I'm aiming for 2025. So check at Krishantiw.com and it will be up on there. And that's it for today. Thanks for being here, and I'll see you next time. Bye bye.